Do you feel tired today? Like burden, like the world is on your shoulders? If that's the case, today's One Verse is for you. Coming up. Hey everyone, welcome back to the One Verse Devotional podcast. This is Matt. Thanks for joining me here today. Whether you're listening to iTunes or Spotify or watching here on YouTube, I'm so grateful to be with you here today. And this week, we've talked all about the power of God, how it leads to deeper faith. And then yesterday, we were in the Old Testament, the book of Jeremiah, where we find that God was actually going to bring some punishment on the people, but also He gave them hope. He says, one day you're going to come back to this land. I know I'm going to have you go through some hard times, but there is hope coming in the future. And Jeremiah concluded, you know what? I'm going to trust. I'm going to have faith. Lord, nothing is too hard for you. Well, we're going to jump back to the New Testament today, but I feel like what we talked about in Jeremiah really has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today. So if you missed that episode, I encourage you to go back and watch it. But this is what I'm talking about. See, in the story of Jeremiah, we found that God said He was going to punish the people, but He gave them hope for the future. And we said that we can hold on to that same hope, that we can understand that God, nothing is too big for you, that even if things don't look great right now, we know that you haven't left us, you haven't forsaken us, that we have your power in our life and that nothing is too big for you. But then let's continue that conversation. Okay, well, I'm going through a hard time right now. I know I have hope for the future, but what about all this in between time? That's the middle ground. That's a pretty tough area. What about now? Yeah, I can know that hope is coming, but until that day, life might be a little bit rough, right? The Christian life isn't an easy life. It doesn't mean that just because we follow Jesus that everything's going to be rainbows and butterflies, right? Skittles aren't going to drop down from the sky, are they? No, it can still be rough. And whether God is allowing us to experience some consequences to draw us closer to Himself, right? We talked about that yesterday. Or it's just something that's outside of our control, like COVID-19. And we're going through things in life that we have no control over. And we believe that hope is coming. But what about this gap, right? What about this valley that we're going through until we get to the other side? Well, today's one verse answers just that question. We're in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, and this verse is in quotes because these are the words of Jesus. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I don't know about you, but there's been some times in 2020 where I've just wanted some rest, where my mind is just going in hyperdrive, right? Trying to figure out all the scenarios and what's going on and what news source can I even trust? And is this all real or not? And mask or not? And then we got racism and people are in like 2020. What the heck, right? 2020, just the label of 2020 is what the heck. Okay. And during that time, man, it's exhausting, right? It is flat out exhausting, right? Even if you're not very active, it's mentally draining. And the anxiety and the questions and the uncertainty. Man, so when he says, all you who are weary and burdened. Yeah, Jesus, that's me. Yeah, hands raised. I mean, all day long, I am weary and burdened and feel like if I try to do things in my own power, I don't have the answers. I can't figure it out. I'm exhausted from trying to do things on my own. And Jesus says, all right, well then you're the one I'm talking to. He says, come to me. if you're weary, if you're burdened, if you're exhausted, if your mind just can't take one more thing, if you're trying to do too much on your own, if you got to figure out work and school and how in the world are you supposed to have a job and do e-learning and virtual learning or send the kids to school? Do we have enough masks? Do I need to get another filter for the mask? I mean, all the things, right? He says, come to me and I will give you rest. Man, that sounds good, doesn't it? I don't know exactly how it works because I'm not Jesus. All I know is he says, come to me, give it to me, talk to me. He is the ultimate Father. He's our best friend. He's our Savior. He says, bring it to me. It's just so freeing to take the weight off of our shoulders and put it on Jesus. And that's what he says we can do. As we already learned this week, he has all the power, right? He is all powerful. He created the heavens and the earth. Jeremiah came to the conclusion that God, nothing is too hard for you. And now we get this. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Why? Because we can take all those burdens off of us and we can put them at the feet of Jesus. We can even put them on his shoulders. And he says, I'm all powerful. I'll carry them for you. So I encourage you today, if you are just struggling with exhaustion, with anxiety, if your mind is just going a million miles a second, right? If you lay in bed at night and you literally have this like task list forming in your brain of all the things you got to do for work and kids and family and friends. And oh crap, I forgot that this thing was due. And now I did this. And did I send in enough snacks? And did I pay my kids' lunch account? And oh, what time is the freaking bus going to get here in the morning? I can't keep it right. Like that's life right now. And Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. It's not easy, but give it to Jesus. Take those burdens off your shoulders and lay them in front of Jesus, and he'll take care of all of it and get some rest. You need a mental rest. You need spiritual rest. If you're tired today, give it to Jesus, and he will give you rest.